Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone you raised and realized they no longer saw you as family? They saw you as an opportunity. My name is Daniel. I'm 69 years old, and until last year, I believed that if you spent your whole life loving your children, they would always love you back. I couldn't have been more wrong. After my wife Mary passed away, silence filled every corner of our home. Every room reminded me of her laughter. Every morning, I still made 2 cups of coffee before remembering she was gone. The loneliness was unbearable. Then something unexpected happened. My 2 sons suddenly became the perfect children. They visited every weekend. They brought groceries. They mowed my lawn. They insisted on taking me to doctor's appointments. They even argued over who would spend Thanksgiving with me. For the first time since Mary's death, I felt like I wasn't alone anymore. Looking back, I should have known it was too good to be true. One Sunday afternoon, my oldest son placed several papers on the kitchen table. "Dad," he said with a reassuring smile, "these are just estate planning documents. If anything ever happens, we'll be able to take care of everything without dealing with probate." I trusted him. Why wouldn't I? He was my son. So I signed. 32 days later, my entire world collapsed. A man wearing a suit knocked on my front door. "Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel. I'm here to inspect the property before the new owners move in." I laughed. "You've got the wrong address." He looked down at his paperwork. "No, sir. According to county records, this home was sold 3 weeks ago." The words hit me like a freight train. Sold? My home? I called both of my sons immediately. Instead of denying it, they admitted
Dad.
everything. My younger son said coldly, "You can't live in that big house forever. We already found you a nice retirement community. You'll be happier there." Happier? In a place I never chose. "What about asking me first?" I whispered. There was a long silence. Then my oldest brother said something I'll never forget. "It's just a house." No, it wasn't just a house. It was where I watched my sons take their first steps. It was where my wife fought cancer with incredible courage. It was where we celebrated birthdays, Christmas mornings, and ordinary Tuesdays that became precious memories. You can't put a price on a lifetime. That night I packed one suitcase, not because I had somewhere to go, but because I couldn't bear sleeping under a roof that no longer felt like home. What my sons didn't know, Mary had always been one step ahead. Years before she passed away, she made me promise to keep every important legal document with our family attorney. She used to say, "Trust with your heart, but protect yourself with wisdom." The next morning, we all met at the lawyer's office. My sons arrived smiling. They expected to receive the money from the sale. Instead, the attorney opened a different folder. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said calmly, "there is one document you appear to have overlooked." The room became silent. He adjusted his glasses before continuing. 5 years ago, Mr. Daniel placed this property into a protected family trust after the death of his wife. My sons looked at each other, confused. The lawyer continued. "According to the trust agreement, no sale can occur without Mr. Daniel personally appearing before 2 independent witnesses and confirming the transfer." Their faces turned pale. "The transaction is legally invalid." The buyers were reimbursed, the sale was canceled, and my sons suddenly found themselves answering difficult questions from investigators. Neither one looked me in the eye, neither one apologized. As I stood to leave, I placed my old house keys on the lawyer's desk. "I've spent my whole life building this house," I said quietly. "But somewhere along the way, I forgot to build boundaries." Months later, I made a decision that surprised everyone. I sold the house legally, on my own terms. Not because I had to, because I wanted a fresh beginning. I bought a small cottage beside a peaceful lake. It wasn't luxurious. It didn't have marble floors or a huge backyard. But every sunrise reminded me that peace is worth more than property. One afternoon, a little girl from next door knocked on my door holding a plate of chocolate chip cookies. "My mom says nobody should have dinner alone." I smiled with tears in my eyes. Sometimes the family you spend your life trying to protect isn't the family that protects you, and sometimes losing everything you thought you needed leads you to the life you were always meant to find. If this story touched your heart, remember this. Love your family with all your heart, but never confuse love with blind trust, because the greatest inheritance we leave behind isn't money, it's the character we choose to live by. My mom says nobody should have dinner alone. I smiled with tears in my eyes. Sometimes the family you spend your life trying to protect isn't the family that protects you, and sometimes losing everything you thought you needed leads you to the life you were always meant to find. If this story touched your heart, remember this. Love your family with all your heart, but never confuse love with blind trust, because the greatest inheritance we leave behind isn't money, it's the character we choose to live by. If you enjoyed this story, show your support by liking the video, leaving a comment, and subscribing for more.